Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on this video. Noah Dobson traded to the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to go through all of it around the Montreal Canadiens and New York Islanders. I'm also going to be live tonight for the NHL Draft. I hope you guys join the live stream here on Hot Take Hockey. If you're new, welcome. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below, notification bell on, and all that good stuff. But definitely comment your thoughts because I think this is a massive one. We're going to go through it right now. Looking at the trade details, every insider was on it. I actually was jumping on a flight, and I guess like 15-20 minutes later, this broke. Also, last night, if you guys are not following me on X, I've been buzzing. I've actually been talking to a lot more people in the industry. I heard Noah Dobson was being traded to Montreal last night, or at least it was likely. I know Columbus kind of came into the picture, and at one point, St. Louis was having that conversation, but Noah Dobson, then a report came out that he wanted to stay in the Eastern Conference, so then it seemed very likely for me that Montreal was the team. Just mostly because also Columbus has the later first-round pick where Montreal has the back-to-back 16 and 17, and I thought it would just make sense that they would trade both the first-round picks. And I said that. I actually said it could be a bigger deal involving maybe a forward prospect and a defense prospect with Logan Mailloux going to the Islanders. Of course, that doesn't happen here. It's Emil Heineman going to the Islanders. A really good middle six forward, in my opinion. Probably a good third liner for the Islanders this upcoming year. A guy that I could see scoring 15 to 20 goals, depending on the fit. And they get back-to-back first-round picks. So the Islanders, of course, have their first overall pick. And now they have number 16 and 17, where I think they're going to use some assets here, some draft selections, specifically maybe both the ones they just got from Montreal, to trade up to get James HAGENS. That was also the conversation I was having yesterday, and we've obviously had lots that the Islanders are going to try to get HAGENS on top of getting Schaefer first overall. But Noah Dobson to Montreal, $9.5 million. A lot of people think this is insane. I don't think it's like stupid rich. I think it's a bit of an overpay. For Dobson's value right now, you're probably looking at somewhere between 7.5 to 8. But you get Noah Dobson in the Montreal Canadiens cap pitcher, get him at 8 years because before July 1st, and I think the conversation is you sign him long-term as the RFA. There's no confusions about offer sheets or any of this. You get him 8 years, $9.5 million. With the cap going up, you're probably predicting that, okay, maybe this doesn't look great the first couple of years. By year 3, 4, and 5, this is going to look great for the Montreal Canadiens. I really think Dobson, whether he is next to Matheson or Gouli, I think they have the flexibility to be creative here. I actually think that Gouli could be a perfect partner for Dobson. I understand a lot of people love Gouli with Hudson. I like that too, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying that Dobson, the way he plays, I think Gouli could complement him, and Lane Hudson is just becoming such a stud that maybe you just get specifically a shutdown guy next to him. It doesn't necessarily need to be as good of a two-way guy as Gouli is, but it's crazy. I think the Islanders are going to get James HAGENS. I really do. I think if they don't, I'd be more shocked. I think the fact that they have all these assets now and they traded Dobson away, it just, to me, it shows a clear sign that they are all in on Matthew Schaefer being their number one defenseman long-term, their number one offensive defenseman long-term, and there's no funny business. And the Montreal Canadiens in the process get a potential stud on the back end. I'm very high on Noah Dobson. If you guys have watched this channel, I've talked about some of his, I would say, flaws and some of his mistakes over the years with the Islanders and his inconsistencies, but I know his ceiling. And to me, I've always said this. If you've watched this channel, you know I've said this countless times. Never judge a defenseman, especially a high-end defenseman, until they are 25. Noah Dobson, folks, is 25. I'm expecting big things from Noah Dobson this upcoming season. We've seen the signs. And I think the signs, once you get into the latter half of your 20s as a defenseman in the National Hockey League, especially a guy that takes more risks on the offensive side of things, I think the Montreal Canadiens are going to be very happy with this acquisition. And Jay Fresh gives a bit of a summary here. Noah Dobson, acquired by Montreal, is a top-pairing offensive defenseman, skilled, capable of moving the puck in transition, join to the rush, stretch passes, all that good stuff. Defense has been a bit inconsistent, but as you can see kind of on his even strength numbers on an Islanders team that hasn't obviously been great recently, it's a good sign. But it's crazy because Emil Heineman, and I was going to talk about this, but BR Open Ice, big shout, talks about Emil Heineman being traded a few times now in his short NHL career so far. So that's kind of my thoughts, but a busy day, guys. I'm going to post another video about the Charlie Coyle potentially in terms of next moves for the Avalanche. But just to talk about it quickly, Charlie Coyle also traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets along with Miles Wood. So I'll just include it in this video. Again, I'm going to go live tonight for the draft. So over the next couple days, I'll probably post videos in terms of next moves for the Avalanche, next move for the Blue Jackets, next moves for Montreal, next moves for the Islanders. But I'm basically telling you guys, I think the next move for the Islanders is acquiring the pick that would get you James HAGENS. But this is also a crazy trade. I mean, I'll say this. I think Colorado, as you guys can see from my tweet there, make sure you guys are following me on X, on Twitter, massive W for the Avalanche. And I also saw this. This is kind of crazy from Arthur Staple. Interesting timeline for Dobson and the Isles. Source said Lou Lamoriello offered him in a package for Mitch Marner before last season's deadline. Now he's moved for futures. It's crazy. It's crazy. That could have happened last deadline. And I honestly think the Leafs were resistant on that because they thought Marner would stay. Well, now it looks kind of rough, right? And I think the players realize Marner's gone as well. But shout out to Megan. I also think that Gavin Brindley, who the Avalanche are getting here, he's undersized at 5'9", but I think he's a bit of a dog, a little bit of underrated. I was kind of surprised because I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe he is from Ohio. Let's just check quickly here. Gavin Brindley. Now the Colorado Eagles. Sorry, he's from Florida, but I guess the connection is he played for Michigan, I guess, with Blue Jackets teammates. Sorry, for some reason I thought he had an Ohio connection, but I guess it was just because he played close by and the Blue Jackets got a quick look at him. But the Blue Jackets have a couple guys from Ohio, but I guess Brindley, there still might be an Ohio connection there, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But a little bit of a summary here. I'm excited to look for a few names. Colorado hasn't been shy about giving the NCAA kids a chance. Gavin Brindley available 27. So this is going back to 2023 when he was drafted. But just workhorse, line mate Adam Fantilli. I guess that was a bit of the connection too, the Fantilli connection. So Fantilli is probably not overly happy that they're trading him, but it's great value for the Avalanche. The Blue Jackets, I don't love this, but I think the Blue Jackets are trying to take the next step. So to me, Don Waddell, clearly, I'll actually put it this way: whether it's Joe Sakic or Don Waddell or other guys in the league, I've heard people love Charlie Coyle. They just love his game, love the right shot center aspect, love the fact that he can play center and wing. So I've heard that around the league. I don't know if it's necessarily justified to trade a guy like Brindley in a second to get him. And honestly, I think the Avalanche are kind of laughing because I think they were trying to get rid of Miles Wood cap hit because they're tight in the picture right now. The fact that they get off of Miles Wood and Charlie Coyle without retaining any salary is pretty impressive. So we'll see what happens, guys. But give me your thoughts on all of this stuff. Like I said, Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood to the Blue Jackets. I like the Avalanche creating some space here, getting Gavin Brindley in the process, giving that guy a chance, especially after they lost Cal Ritchie in that Brock Nelson trade. I know they've retained Brock Nelson since and re-signed him, and they also traded assets for Charlie Coyle at the deadline. They recoup some assets, they create some flexibility, and maybe they go after someone in free agency. We'll see. But I don't think the Avalanche are done. I think they've played some games here because Joe Sakic's kind of sent some messages around to other people in the league and publicly basically saying they're set with their roster and they're comfortable. Well, and then they make this move and trade two of their key roster guys, or at least one key roster guy. Miles Wood had his opportunities and in the past has looked decent in the bottom six. We'll see if he can get that opportunity with the Blue Jackets. And then, of course, the big trade is Noah Dobson, and he extends $9.5 million per over an 8-year term. As I said, give me your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the draft stream on Hot Take Hockey on YouTube tonight. I hope all of you guys will be there. I will have a special guest, so I hope you guys tune in, check it out. Thanks, everyone. Talk soon. Peace.